Well, I was not expecting to really make any videos on 3D printing because I am about as new to it as a person can get. I literally, probably a month ago, knew of it, but that was it. Did some, YouTube University research, actually about 2 months ago, and ordered the Bambu Lab PS1 or P1S with the AMS bundle. And I ordered it about 2 weeks before all the hubbub about the update and just everything that I've been seeing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It kind of made me nervous, wondering whether or not I have made a decent purchase. But again, I'm not trying to start a business. I'm not wanting to be a total DIY, build the whole printer from scratch. I basically want this to be kind of like a microwave, or kind of like just a basic PC or Apple. I want to buy it, I want to install some software, and I want to start printing. And I want a Chevrolet. I don't want a home-built airplane. So, got it in about a week ago. Finally got it here. Unboxed it a day or two ago. Actually yesterday maybe. And got it put together. Let it do its initial 26-minute run of leveling the bed and just calibration settings, and it seemed to do everything seemed to do just fine. So today I came down and figured I'd do my first print. Now, first thing you need to know is where I'm running this, I am off grid. I'm working on a property here, so I am running completely on solar with the occasional generator. Now I have, as far as power source, currently I've got a full rack of EG4 48 volt batteries, full rack of that, and I'm currently using a 3000 watt inverter, an all-in-one. I do have monitoring, 3 different ways of monitoring right now. I'm using Victron products for most of the rest of it. I'm using a couple of small charge controllers here, a couple of small arrays, and then eventually I'll get all the rest of my solar arrays up, and I'll go to a larger one, and then eventually a full 20,000 watt Victron split phase system. So currently, fairly small system, at least as far as voltage, 3,000 watts. That'll be important here in a second. So anyway, did everything. First print, did the ubiquitous Benchy. Again, I'm not a pro at this, but for the most part, it looks good. Let me get over here with a little bit more light. There is a little line down across the middle. There's a little bit of spider webbing or cobwebbing, I'd say. I don't think that would be anything new. Looks like there's a little place for an accessory, like some kind of little flag. You could probably, I haven't looked yet, but I'm sure there's some like little accessories to it. Right about in here, there's some where it's the different levels, and there's not a support underneath it. There's a little kind of step, and on both sides, I figured that is to be expected. Again, to me it looks good. It's not totally polished. I don't expect it to be. The only thing that I did really before I did print, and I couldn't really, I even looked for some videos and I see people pulling this up, but when I tried to pull up on the plate, it didn't want to seem to move. And so for other people who are even newer to it than I am, it is magnetic, and I may have just missed that detail someplace, but it is magnetic. But I did pull that out, and I just gave it a quick rinse. I didn't even use soap. I just took a clean paper towel, a little bit of water, made sure and rinsed it so I didn't have any fingerprint oil or anything on it. Did fine, and I just printed directly off the SD card. I have not used the software yet. Now here's the interesting part, the solar. If you can see this, now this is Solar Assistant connected to that inverter. So while I've been down here, my kind of running basic power draw is about 86, 80 to 90 watts. Is just for the lights and the laptop and other things I've got going on here. This spike is the refrigerator compressor when it kicks on, so that's about 190 watts. Right about here, somewhere in here, is when I turn the printer on to start the print. It spiked a couple of times. I was watching the gauge, and it spiked a couple of times, a little over 1,000 watts. So definitely, if somebody were considering doing this, absolutely positively do not use any kind of an inverter less than 2,000 watts, and make sure it's pure sine. So make sure it's a good pure sine inverter, and I can't see anything less than 2,000 being usable at all. And even with that, if I was going to use just a 2,000 watt inverter, I would probably put a UPS, a battery backup, like you would put on a computer on it. Plug that into your inverter or your wall outlet, whatever, and then plug the printer into that, just to make sure that if it ever spikes up, or if you've got any additional load, so like if it was spiking and the refrigerator came on at the same time, you're not gonna have your inverter go off. 3,000 watt inverter and above shouldn't be a problem. But most of the run was actually around pulling about 300 watts. So it's it's around 400 here, 100 or so for my regular load. So it seemed to be basically running around 200 to 300 watts is what it was taking to run the machine. But yeah, that's my first print. I'm fixing to do the scraper, and then I'll probably do the poop bucket. And I'm just kind of curious, how much filament's using. I got 2 spools with the AMS. I got an orange and a green, and then the support filament. I've just got one in there right now because I don't want to open the other bags. I don't know how much I'm going to print, and I don't want it to start getting a bunch of moisture in it because I don't have a dryer or anything yet. And again, I'm not trying to get into be a serious hobbyist. I don't expect I'll ever design anything. I just want to be able to print some functional things for myself and maybe some friends. So anyway, I don't know if I'll ever make another one or not, but just a first impression. And it is early February 2025, and yes, so far it seems it has been fairly simple and has just worked for the first print.